Welcome everyone to The Blocks Have Spoken. This is Rob the Gamer 115, and as always, Brett's with me. Hi Brett.
How's it going, man? Another fire episode.
Dude, we actually stuck to this. I wasn't sure if we were gonna do a second one, but we're here. And yeah, another solid episode. I'm excited to talk about this one.
I know. The premiere was very amazing. Blew all my expectations out of the water. So I was a little nervous going into the second episode. It's gonna be hard to fill the shoes of the last one, but I think it built off it pretty well. And there's another my only complaint. I mean, there'll be other complaints later, but my main complaint is this one wasn't 3 hours. I think we got spoiled with that 3 hour premiere. I was like, dang, this episode feels so short.
Yeah, we definitely did get spoiled by a very long premiere. And the only other complaint that I would mention, and there's nothing the show really could have done about this, is the pacing of the episode just kind of feels a little weird, but it's because the premiere ended almost like partway into the second episode with Kyle's medevac.
Yeah.
So there, there's not really a great way to handle that. So I'm not gonna really fault.
Yeah.
All right. Where
Oh, wait, I do have one other big complaint that hopefully will get changed in the future.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Where's the intro? No intro? They kind of teased us. I thought it was about to happen, and then nothing. I get, a lot of people, a lot of stuff has to go down in the episode, but man, I love me a good Survivor intro. I was disappointed when it didn't come on.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even notice that there wasn't an intro.
No.
It's one of those things where I tend not to notice when it's there or not there. I do agree with you that it is a nice touch to have, but also, especially for a season with 24 people on it, that's a long intro.
Yeah.
So, eh, I don't know. I could take it. I could not. I'm fine either way.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of people on the season, a lot of screen time to go around, and I'm sure we'll get to it later. There's a lot of people we didn't really see much of at all this episode too. So maybe the intro would take away even more people's screen time. Maybe it wouldn't be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, because of the nature of the episode, especially now that we only have a 90-minute episode, which is wild to say, only a 90-minute episode. But we I feel like we got a lot of one tribe and not so much of the other two.
Yeah.
Again, understandably so. You're gonna stick with the tribe that goes to tribal. That's just the nature of how the game works. But with that being said, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, going off my notes here, we come back after. Well, actually, we don't even. I was gonna say we come back from tribal. We don't. We pick right off with Kyle being boated away. Everyone on the tribe understandably upset. It seemed like Genevieve might be the most upset. Uh, I think Kyle. I think she was really eyeing Kyle as her number one ally, and I
Yeah.
think that might have. I don't want to say wrecked her, but it does kind of suck when you start the game off because she was in a seemingly decent spot, short of votes being gone. But with Kyle going, you not having a vote, Colby not having a vote, Genevieve is in an interesting position, certainly.
Yeah, Kyle seemed like kind of like he's like a good glue guy. I feel like he's a good
Mhm.
kind of figurehead for that whole little alliance to actually keep everybody together. And it still seemed like they were kind of sticking strong. Like right after Kyle left and everything, you see Q try to bring Rizzo into the fold.
Mhm.
So they're still trying to make it work. But I'm interested to see if it ends up kind of toppling over on top of itself now that the big that Kyle's gone.
And that's kind of what we speculated was going to happen, was that they were going to try to pull Rizzo in as their new Kyle, essentially. Because originally we had, it seemed, Q, Genevieve, Stephanie, Colby, and Kyle. 5 out of 8. Kyle goes. And especially with a lack of votes, it seemed like Rizzo was going to be the one to fill in that spot, and that does seem to be the case. So that's where we're at on that tribe. Should we talk about Christian?
Well, yeah, we go from this tribe and we jump over to a bit of a shitty situation.
I was going to say, we go from one shitty situation to another shitty situation. Dude, I can't tell you. I see a confessional and I hear someone say, Christian is standing really still as though he hurt a vertebrae. And I immediately was like, if we have 2 medevacs at the same moment, I'm going to fucking lose it. Nope, he just shit himself.
Yeah, I was like, what is he doing? Like, what is, like, I you know, that's my number 1 draft pick right there. I need him in top shape. But no, he just, when you gotta go, you gotta go. And it was just a very funny scene with Joe in the hammock just kind of like staring at him like, what's going on?
Yeah. Okay. It's funny because you have to imagine that if this was like a 60-minute episode, we don't get that, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to think. I was like, it's funny, but especially to peel a little bit behind the curtain, you have done your fair share of editing shows, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine when you do so, the process you kind of go through is everything that you include to a certain extent has a reason.
Yeah, no,
So
100%.
so I have 3 theories as to why we have this scene with Christian. All right, so theory 1 is just what it is on the surface. It's just funny, which is honestly a valid reason.
Yeah.
Here's where my other 2 theories come in. You ready?
Okay.
Theory 2. We get this moment of Christian essentially being a fool because the payoff is at the very end of the episode when Christian looks like a fool.
It does kind of the episode does start with him doing something a little goofy and ends with him doing
Right.
goofy. It is a good little payoff. I do see that.
And here's my 3rd theory. You ready?
Okay.
So, as we saw during this episode, for quite a bit of time, the backside of Christian was blurred.
Yes.
Is he gonna have that blur the entire rest of the season?
Well, I don't know, because for a lot of the episode after the incident, I did notice him wearing shorts a lot. I don't know if
Oh,
the
okay.
pants got retired. Maybe there will be some cleaning. They'll come back, but I did notice him in shorts for a very prolonged period.
Okay, maybe. All right, so then maybe that theory is dead in the water. But I'm feeling good about that second theory, and we'll get to
Yeah,
the end of the episode when we do. But either way, it was a kind of silly, just a silly thing all around.
yeah, hilarious.
Yeah. All right, so we get to the reward challenge, and this. All right, everyone reacts to Kyle being gone. Understandably, the person who kind of takes it the hardest is Camilla.
Yeah.
And, they talk about it, they talk about it. And then Coach decides to talk.
Yeah, it seems like Jeff was being kind of it's, I don't know, maybe Jeff was trying to instigate, maybe not, because I think first he goes to Ozzy and Ozzy talks about, oh yeah, I hurt my back in that first challenge. So that first challenge does get kind of brought up a little bit, the little key thing they did. And then it just, everybody's mourning the death of Kyle. And then Coach is like, well, I would just like to say, what Ozzy was like, he just decided, I don't know. It was a very awkward moment to make everything about yourself.
It wasn't the right moment, Coach.
No.
Like, it was not. Not only was it the wrong moment, But all through the preseason and even in the premiere, we were promised a new coach. And I think coach is back to how he used to play.
Yeah, Ozzy hit him with a banger. Like he roasted him a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, it's the same old coach from the last time we
Yep.
saw you play."
Well,
Which
because here's the thing. All coach had to do is say, it's a game. Ozzy said this. I didn't agree to this promise, so I don't feel obligated to do it. And if he just left it at that, fine. But to then follow it up saying, I will continue to play this game as honorably as I can, you just shot yourself in the foot in the exact same way you did on day 39 of South Pacific, coach.
yeah.
You're not learning. You have not learned. So, I don't know about you, but I'm glad that I have not drafted coach because I don't think coach wins. I think coach is set up great to make it far. I don't think he wins.
Yeah, I think that's kind of just his story now. Like I'm looking at all the people in the game on my monitor, and I'm trying to find a winning combination with him at the end. I mean, it's gonna be a final three, I assume. I mean, maybe Joe,
Yeah.
somebody he could beat. We'll get into the Joe antics later.
Well,
Joe doesn't seem very beloved, but I don't know who else.
I will say, it is very, very early
Yes.
to look at a cast and be like, who does coach beat in the end? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so early that it's kind of hard to say. But, like, if I were to rank all of the current players in terms of most likely to win to least likely, coach is definitely at least bottom 10, if not bottom 5.
Yeah, I just don't think bro is not putting up a good final tribal council performance. It's gonna be the exact same thing as
I
South
think
Pacific.
I think there are people who are in worse positions at the moment than coach. But it's so early in the game, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, we get wonderful Aussie versus coach, which, by the way, again, worth saying, for me, it's wild to see an argument between Aussie and coach, and for me to side on Aussie. Because, like, in South Pacific, while I acknowledge that coach fucked himself, I think coach played the better game than Aussie.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I will stick to that word every time. This time around, Aussie is playing the better game, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Ozzy, he's like trying to change. He's making an effort.
Right.
Like I don't know if I don't think he's gonna magically make his way to the end as Ozzy 2, or I guess it's what 5.0. But like he's attempting. He knows he sucks at his social game,
Yeah.
and he's like, all right, I'm putting my eggs in the Sari basket. I'm doing this. Like I don't know if it'll
And
be enough, but like at least he's trying.
and yeah, like Aussie definitely was in more immediate danger than someone like Coach. But like I think if Aussie can survive the short term game, I think he's in a good position to make a deep run.
Yeah.
And, not to get into what next week's episode will look like, but we see it's going to be a tribe swap. So, at the very least, it's going to be hard for Aussie to swap into a worse position
Yeah.
than where he's at. Because if his tribe went to tribal again, it sounds like he might just be screwed, if not Joe. But
Yeah, well, one of those two was
yeah,
probably on the chopping block.
yeah. So, anyways, we get to see this reward challenge, which nothing too remarkable. I did think of something though. If
Okay.
Kyle doesn't get medevac, this is immunity, right?
Probably, yeah. I mean, this was this the ring toss one? This was the ring toss challenge, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. It did seem very intricate for just a reward challenge.
Yeah. So my guess is that this was an immunity challenge. And my guess is also that Kyle got medevaced right before the challenge.
Yeah.
So, like, my guess is that he got medevaced, and, like, within the hour, they did this reward challenge, is my speculation.
Okay.
But anyways, the only things that I really noted was Aubrey seemed to be the one who lost it for her tribe, which not a big deal. Looked like she jumped, missed the thing, but then like her second attempt she hit it.
Yeah,
You know, shit happens.
I've seen that clip a couple times, like, online of just her jumping and just missing the thing.
You look, I don't know if there was a better spot to have Aubrey, but like just to set the record straight, typically for a spot like that, wouldn't you want someone a little taller?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what Aubrey's height is, but she looks like she's like 5'4", 5'5" or so.
Yeah,
And
she
I have
completely
to
lived.
imagine that certainly didn't help.
Mm-mm.
Like what? Because in that challenge, if I hang on, no, Camilla sat out of that challenge, right?
Yeah, she was on the bench. I remember seeing that.
Camilla sat. Oh, right, because Aubrey's tribe didn't. Wait, was Aubrey's tribe the one that sat so? No,
No, because
no.
they had Kyle. They
Right,
had
Aubrey's
Kyle,
tribe
yeah,
was the one
yeah.
that had Kyle. Right, okay. So that tribe. So yeah, like I don't know. I don't know who you switch in. I'd have to look it again, but whatever. Cerise seemingly did okay. We didn't really see her much in the challenge. She basically just swam at the end, and Rick showing off his carnival game skill set, which
Mhm.
I somehow did remember that was a storyline in Edge of Extinction, and sure enough, he goes on this ring toss and just nails it. So, yeah. But anyways, we go back to Genevieve. Genevieve believes Aubrey has an idol. And the paranoia begins.
Yeah, it's crazy because it was such a good read of her to be like, I think somebody would give it to her. And like we don't know the actual time frame because obviously later on we'll get to Christian and his decision to,
Give
obviously
it
give it
to
to.
Aubrey.
Yeah, so like Genevieve with a mastermind read that was just couple, maybe like a day early or however like early it ended up being, but
Yeah. Her logic made sense, though. Why is Aubrey walking around camp with her bag all the time?
mhm.
I don't know. I'm curious. If we go back to like seasons 32, 34, 38, is that something we see Aubrey doing in those seasons? Does she just usually walk around with her bag? I was like, maybe she's walking around with her bag so that if she does get something, she just continues to walk around with her bag and no one questions it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But either way, I will say this, not to get too far ahead. This episode, massive, uh, better edit for Aubrey.
Oh yeah, no,
I
for
mean,
sure.
Premiere Aubrey looked like she was drawing dead. This episode, Aubrey has life in this game.
I mean, especially with what we said earlier about there being a swap next episode, I think that's exactly what she needed
But that's
because
exactly
it
what she
seemed like
needed.
it was
Yeah.
it's her versus everybody, and I guess
It,
maybe Angelina. I don't know where she's at in this tribe. I'm just gonna be so for real. Like we don't see anything of her, but it seemed like everybody was kind of teaming up on Aubrey.
so we go back over to Jonathan and Coach.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. So I I'm I'm trying. Coach is what? In his mid-50s?
He's 53.
So he swims out into the ocean. As far as we can tell, he doesn't do any diving. He just swims out there and then gets this massive cramp and ends up having to get a lift back to camp, which my mom was. I've said before, I watched Survivor with my mother.
Yeah.
She sees this boat giving Coach a lift back, and the comment she makes is, "Oh, they're allowed to help him like that? Like, no, mom, they're gonna let him drown. Like, what did you think was gonna happen?"
I love how after they get to the shore too, Coach is a confession. Is like, "Yeah, Jonathan saved me." I'm like,
Yeah,
"We're just
Jonathan
we're just on a
didn't
boat
save you. Production did. I mean,
To be fair, yeah,
not that's not a knock against Jonathan, because when someone's drowning, if you yourself are in the water, what they're gonna do is pull you under as well.
yeah,
So, like, Jonathan did the right thing by having production rescue Coach. But like, on the one hand, it does make Coach look a little silly. On the other hand, I think it shows that Jonathan and Coach are going to be a tight duo.
Yeah, I wrote down Coach is Jonathan's number one, and we
I
I
think
think
vice versa as well.
yeah, I mean this is the tribe we've really seen the least of, like at all.
Yeah.
All we've really seen, Mike White has abs, and like Coach and Jonathan like each other, and people don't like Chrissy. I guess that kind of happened right after this. Is there was the whole
Yeah.
anti Chrissy montage that went down.
Yeah, and it seems like the anti Chrissy is mostly led by D, which my guess is that D knows that if there's not an active target, then it's likely going to default onto her. So
Yeah,
I think she's trying to find every single thing to nitpick about Chrissy to people so that if they go to tribal, D can be like, so we're taking out Chrissy, right?
yeah. I
That's
thought,
my guess.
yeah, I thought Charlie had a nice little confessional too. Like, oh, I usually, as you guys know, I'm drawn to like the older women in the game, but like I don't want to, go towards that sinking ship though. If everybody's already turning against her, just a little
I,
nice little Maria reference there, a
well,
little
I'm
bit.
also surprised that Charlie would even consider doing that again, given how badly he got
Oh yeah,
burned by Maria.
yeah. No shot. I would do that after what happened the last time. No shot. That's who I'm making
It's
my number one.
it's also worth saying. I have applied to be on Survivor about 6 times now. Basically as early as Millennials Gen X.
Yeah.
And I've always spent a lot of time thinking, what would my strategy be? And funny enough, my strategy would have been what Charlie's is to find an older woman who I can bounce my ideas off of. Because my logic was the best duos are the ones that have very different outlooks on life in one way or another. Like you think of Steven and JT. They have such different viewpoints of the world just because of very different backgrounds. So the opposite background to me would be someone like a Chrissy or a Maria, someone who's on the older side, may or may not be female. Honestly, the gender is less important to me, but more someone who's older, wiser. That's who I would most want to ally with. And
I
I
mean,
remember seeing Heroes, Healers, Hustlers and seeing Chrissy, and I was like, Chrissy, you are the person I would want to ally with. And it's part of the reason why when I watched that season, I connected with Ryan so much.
oh yeah, I remember that was the red shirt guy, right?
Yep.
I think
I was
yeah,
a
yeah.
huge Ryan fan.
Me too.
To
Me
the
too.
point where I was rooting for him to win at the end. And I think I was one of the only people who went to that final four and was rooting for Ryan to win. I think everyone was rooting for Chrissy or Devin, or I guess some people rooting for Ben, but I don't think anyone was rooting for Ryan except me. I understand why he ended up losing, but I was hoping for it. But yeah, so D talks shit about Coach and Chrissy. Chrissy seems to be exuding mom energy, which if she continues to do that, I worry that that's going to be rough for her. But if she can get on a tribe with older people, like a Coach or a Joe, I could see her connecting with them.
Yeah, I think they'd love her on the Purple Tribe, who like later on they're like a lot of them are mad at Rizzo for and like Angelina for
Yeah,
being lazy. I think they'd love to have Chrissy over there because I know
actually,
she
that's
loves
a
that
that's a
profile.
great point. Colby would get along with Chrissy. I think Stephanie would. Yeah, I think Chrissy had a really bad start, and even then, she had allies. But I think she could potentially also be someone being saved by a swamp.
Yeah, didn't really see much. I don't even think we got her perspective on the situation, which kind of
Oh,
sucked. We really haven't heard much of her at all, like in the first two episodes.
Chrissy's been one of the most quiet people, which there are 22 people in the game at this point. It's kind of hard to have everyone be seen.
Yeah.
But it's a shame because Chrissy was definitely one of the ones I was most excited to see going into this season.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on this tribe haven't gotten a lot of stuff, but I think it makes
Yeah.
sense though, because like they don't go to tribal, they don't have somebody get medevaced, and they obviously they're not going to tribal until like there's going to be a swap. So this group together is not
Mhm.
going to tribal at all, and I guess they know that while editing the show, so they're like, okay, well none of these like there's no storylines actually going to like go down with this specific group
It
because
would
they're going
be
to swap.
interesting to see though, like in a hypothetical world where we go into a swap, if Dee and Chrissy are still on the same tribe, do you think they target each other, or do you think they put aside differences and say, "Okay, let's just make this work"?
Well, I don't know. I
Because
feel like
I think Chrissy opens the door to work with D, but I think D still targets Chrissy.
yeah. I think it's been like a little like I don't know. They've been what has it been 2 rounds and there's already a swap. Especially with it being a returning like people season as well. I don't think tribe lines are going to be like a thing at all. Like I don't think a lot of people are going to care like whatsoever. Especially like the swap happening so soon. Like I don't know. Like I don't think
I,
it's gonna be like, oh, we have the numbers over here, like us strong or whatever. Maybe a couple like that might happen with like a couple groups, but I
quick aside, do you have any experience watching Australian Survivor?
I've watched a couple episodes. That's about all my
Do
knowledge, though.
you
I've never watched a full
do you
season.
know when? Because Australian Survivor is normally 24 players. Do you know when they merge and how many players?
I have no clue. I never made it that far.
Because
I know their seasons are super long, though.
yeah, what I was wondering is if we're getting a swap this early, how many swaps do we see? Is there a world where we see 3 tribe swaps in one season?
Yeah, that I mean, I would love if they swapped to 2 tribes at some point. Like, I think that would be kind of cool. And I honestly, it seems kind of reasonable too, because we're already
I
swapping, and like the merge has got to. I don't know what number of people they'll do it at. I guess is, but I mean,
My guess would be 12, I guess.
yeah, that's so far from now still too. Now.
Well, we haven't gotten a proper double boot episode. And you have
No,
to imagine that that's coming.
yeah, I think you mentioned it in our little chat we have for like the draft. Because I remember saying, I was like, we seriously not doing 2 boots? And then I think you were like, well, maybe this episode was planned to be a double boot, but Kyle getting medevac kind of changed that up. And I kind of agree with that. I think that was probably um the plan, I guess. Otherwise, I have no clue what their plan is because I still don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
So, yeah.
no, I'm just this is also like kind of an aside, but my main fear for this season this is a little off topic. Is we all know Mr. Beast is showing up at some point. I'm
Mhm.
terrified there's going to be some Mr. Beast little twist where he's like, I'm offering like money for you to leave, or like, because that's what they do on like his like. I never really
Mhm.
watched his show, but that's what they do on his show, and I know on his show they had like they did a whole Survivor episode. So my fear is that they do a Mr. Beast like little thing, and then I don't know, because I know they have to get a little creative with eliminating people. I'm just hoping there isn't something stupid like that.
So I have 2 theories with that.
Okay.
My first theory is exactly what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
is that they do something like that. My second theory is a little more interesting. Because
Okay.
this is something I have not watched Beast Games. I don't plan on watching it. I don't want to watch it. But I know something on, I think it was the first Beast Games that they did, was near a deep part of the game. They gave the players the option. They said, one of you can come up here and flip this coin. If it's heads, you're out of the game. If it's tails, whoever wins, the prize money is double.
Oh my god.
So, is there a world where he says, if someone comes up here and flips this coin, heads, you're out of the game, but tails, whoever wins the season, instead of walking away with 1 million, walks away with 2 million?
Would be, I'm trying to remember. Like, was there a coin in the trailer? I feel like there was something
No,
because I'm. I'd have to
I don't
look it
know if I
up.
remember seeing. coin specific?
Because I remember seeing the Mr. Beast logo before he actually showed up on the island. They like hit cut away, like did a little cut, and it showed like something with the Mr. Beast logo on. I'd have to.
Well, I know he had a briefcase.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which is almost certainly full of money. Like, what
Yeah.
else is going to be in it? But it is what it is. So we go to Savannah, and I do want to touch on something that I think me and you were both confused about last week, but I've now gotten clarification on. Remember how last week we were confused about why Savannah's block of vote was phrased as like a secret block of vote?
Yeah.
It's the same advantage as it was in 49, where you play it before entering tribal.
Okay.
Not that it matters now, obviously, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because she had the same advantage that God damn, how quickly my mind blanks from 49.
Steven,
Steven, the same advantage Steven had, yeah. So we get to Savannah. She talks about how she still hasn't told anyone about her advantage. She wants to play a loyal game like she did in 49, but she just hasn't really clicked with anyone on the tribe.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're not wrong.
Do you think she should have like come clean about? I feel like there was no reason not to. Everybody suspects you have something. I get like she did, like her reasoning was, well, I don't trust any of these people. Like they don't really mess with me. Like I understand that, but I feel like I don't know. I'm not gonna say that her not telling them is the reason she got voted out. I think she was just kind of cooked to begin with. Like
So,
nobody knows who she is, but I feel like it could have been used to build trust with somebody, maybe.
so in general, my default when it comes to telling players about an advantage, my default is always never do it. However, there are situations where it's beneficial to tell people. I don't think this is actually one of them because I don't think telling them actually benefits her. I
No.
think even if she told them, she gets voted out. I don't
Yeah.
think her telling them or not telling them really was a deal breaker here.
No, I don't think it was the main reason either. Like the only thing I could think of is like try to attempt to use it to like gain like be like I want to work with you. I'm just telling you this to like try to gain favor with like I don't know, one of the people, but even then like from what I've heard her say afterwards too, she kind of seemed cooked. I'm surprised she made it through the first vote, honestly. I think Jenna if she didn't kind of go gung ho on Suri, could have stuck around maybe.
Jenna was the more immediate threat.
Yeah.
Savannah, I think, and I mean, even going into tribal, I really didn't think Savannah was the one going.
No.
And we'll get into it when we get to tribal. Taking out Savannah doesn't really accomplish much, I think. Like, Savannah wasn't a threat, I think. Savannah was just kind of there. As opposed to someone like Joe, who I think should have gone. But,
Joe.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Joe. What were your thoughts on Joe in that episode? Joe was.
Oh God, Joe is now my least favorite person on the cast.
He was. I saw an exit press that apparently him and like Devins's little bout like was even crazier, which is like okay, dang, yeah, he's getting a little protected by the edit, I guess, but yeah, that was crazy. Bro was really. I don't know. That was like everything I hated about 48. Just like, I don't know. At least it's like it's making content, but like also, I kind of wish he just got voted out there.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. But I want to point this out because I think this is insane. Ozzy decides to propose an alliance of Ozzy, Joe, Rick, and Savannah. Now, I think it's Rick who points out in a confessional, he's like, Ozzy's gonna propose an alliance here that doesn't have Suri in it? Really, Ozzy? Really? And I have to be like, okay, out of the 4 people here, okay, is any of them buying into this alliance being real? Because I don't think a single one of them believes it.
No, I don't even think Savannah really bought into it either. Like,
And I think that's why Rick and Savannah didn't want to tell Joe, because the two of them were just like, this alliance isn't even real.
yeah, I feel like if they told Joe, Joe would be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't vote like one of these people. This is my alliance. I thought this was on our like." I get why they didn't want to tell him.
I
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you still tell them. Because here's the thing. If you don't tell Joe, I do kind of agree with Joe. It does kind of look a little shady,
Yeah.
especially if you're whispering right in front of him. That's just kind of shady as shit. But like, on the other hand, if you tell him, how does that hurt Rick or Savannah? You say to Joe, yeah, Ozzy was proposing an alliance of us three and him. Like, what's Joe gonna do? Either Joe agrees to it, in which case Joe doesn't vote Savannah, Joe doesn't vote Rick, Joe doesn't vote Ozzy, which is good if you're one of those three people. Joe starts talking about it, to which Savannah and Rick can immediately be like, yeah, we didn't really do this. Ozzy just kind of threw something out there. Like I don't know. I don't see the reason why not to tell Joe. And I think even wasn't it Savannah who was also like, I don't know why you're whispering to me about this, Rick.
Yeah.
Like honestly, Joe definitely made it a much bigger deal than it needed to be. But I think Joe is partially right. Like I don't understand why Rick was so weird about this.
Yeah. Rick was like, I get Joe that everybody was talking about how he's like a hard player to play with, yada yada yada. But like Rick did play it very horribly, like terrible, like lies to Joe, like in such a terrible way. Because like you could just like it was the way he was lying to him is like you could tell he's lying, and he's getting all flustered. And then they're like arguing. He's like, "Oh, I can't lie in Survivor." Like very messy by Rick. Like I do agree. Like Joe blew it out of proportion, and like is very much probably a very annoying player to play with. But also like Rick played that so bad. Like I was not a good. Like I don't know. He did not do a good job with that whole situation.
Meanwhile, hey, Christian finds an idol.
The Billie Eilish boomerang idol. Gotta, like,
And
say
as
that and stare
we
at the camera.
mentioned, he gives it to Aubrey, and he tells Devin. And we'll get to what the two of them conspire later. I think Aubrey is a great. Well, Aubrey's an interesting person to give it to. Because keep in mind, she got voted out with an idol in her pocket last time she played.
Yeah. I think it wasn't a bad show. I think from what we saw in the edit, it seemed like he was weighing like the decision. I thought it was really funny. He's like, imagine if I gave it to Angelina and like.
I thought he was going to for a minute.
That would have been that would have been awesome. But I think from what we saw, it seemed like his thought process was like, who's somebody I can like build something with later, which is kind of what the edit made it seem like he was doing. And I think that's the best way you play it, honestly.
You have to imagine. First of all, I am under the assumption that this Christian Rick Emily alliance is going to stick around as long as they can.
Yeah.
And you have to imagine that Aubrey is someone that they are easily able to pull into an alliance like that.
Yeah, 100%. Like
that, like Aubrey with that group would click immediately. So, not to mention she's played with Rick before, so.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess he did like they don't know the dynamics of the other tribe, but it does end up being kind of a good move, just in the case of like obviously the tribes are gonna swap, so it doesn't really matter. But like Aubrey's on the bottom, so like if somebody needed an idol or like I mean, there was a chance she could get voted out with it in her pocket if they went to tribal and they like blindsided her. But I think it was more to build trust, and I do see those two kind of linking up. If not, maybe they get merged or swapped in the same tribe, and if they don't, I think they'll eventually link up in the future. They both seem, I don't know, Aubrey, after episode 1, I would have said, yeah, she's cooked. Like, she is not going to be, like, all she did was stare down Genevieve, and that was her whole content. But now, like, even when Christian, like, gives it to her, it's like, playing triumphant music, like Godspeed, Aubrey,
Mhm.
like, and she's like cry. It's very like supposed to be like a very like emotional, like uplifting moment. So I see them definitely linking up in the future, and this being a storyline that continues from here.
We get to the immunity challenge. I don't know. Not really much to point out here, I think. There were a couple small things I wrote down. Um, I don't know if you noticed this when Christian started doing the puzzle. Did you catch what Jeff referred to him as?
Mm, no, what is it? His last name? Because I know he's been calling him by his
Yeah,
last name. Though. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He's like Hibiki on the puzzle. I'm like, oh shit, Christian's now gotten last name status. Okay,
yeah. Yeah, he's graduated into I get Cochrane
and
and
yeah, it
all the
looks
other
so
legends.
good. It looks so good for Christian. And then about 30 seconds later, Ozzy looks like he's ready to murder Christian. Like, good on Ozzy later on for being like, yeah, I probably came off a little hot during that. But like, Ozzy looked like he was about to strangle the shit out of Christian.
Yeah, I'm
And
surprised Christian
3
didn't
was
fit
like
himself again.
trying to keep the two of them from killing each other.
Yeah. I'm disappointed in the orange thing. Like they are obviously like they're not gonna be. It's not gonna happen anymore. Like swap whatever. But they are the disaster tribe. Like I did not
Yeah.
pin them as the
No, no
tribe
one
that was
did.
gonna be losing. Like I
No,
thought
no
like
one did.
Joe, Ozzy, like Rick was decent at Savannah. We saw her go crazy.
Yeah.
Pushing on the puzzles. Like
No,
I
that
like
was the tribe that I thought was going to be most dominant on challenges.
yeah.
I was
Like
like, yeah, they have Sari, but like, there's so many power players on this on this tribe that'll make up for it. But I don't know. I guess not.
no,
And it's worth
they
saying that challenge loss. I don't think there's any specific person to attribute it to.
no. I mean it was close. That whole little puzzle at the end is tough. Like you get it far and it drops, and all of a sudden you got to start all over.
Mm.
It's a tough thing to do. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I think Sari didn't do. But I don't think any of them really like they were in it. It was kind of close,
Mhm.
but it just an unfortunate result for them.
So yeah, we get to see the tribe discuss how the vote's gonna go. And I have to say that after so many seasons, Sari still got it.
Oh yeah, like I was a little
Holy
yeah.
hell.
I was concerned a little bit. Like we didn't hear much from her before this in the episode, but then they're going tribal again. All of a sudden, she's like, "Oh, you want Ozzy out? Oh, maybe we don't do Ozzy. Maybe we
What
do
about
Savannah."
Savannah?
Yeah, like yeah, no, she really turned it on.
Dude. So, as far as I can tell, and by the way, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Sari, best player of the episode.
Yeah,
Not only does she convince everyone without sounding like she's doing so to target Savannah instead of Ozzy, she gets Ozzy's extra vote,
yeah.
which
uh,
is insane.
and she says this is the first advantage that is actually hers in like all of like the 5 seasons, because there was the whole thing on Game Changers where like she had the
Mhm.
advantage, tried to use it, wasn't actually hers, didn't work,
Right.
whatever, which led to unfortunate events.
Mhm.
But she's got the advantage now though. Like what did you think of Ozzy doing? Did you think that was a good move from him? Like I don't know, what did you think?
I think that it was unnecessary because I think him and Sari were very close as it was. But what I could see, this is there's benefits to it and there's bad parts to it. The good thing about Ozzy doing this is it's likely that next episode Ozzy and Sari are no longer on the same tribe.
Yeah.
If Sari needs to use that to stay alive, she can do so now, which means that it's more likely that they reconnect later in the game. So, and Ozzy has the idol. So, like, it's not like he has no power.
Hmm. And
So,
I mean, Challenge Beast would be kind of dumb to vote him out. Like he's probably chilling.
yeah, I don't hate the decision. I don't love the
Yeah.
decision. I mean, it's one of those things where unfortunately it's going to be a hindsight 2020 if he ends up going home and it would have helped him.
Hmm.
But, it was a decision. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Fair
I
enough.
yeah, I found it very funny because it's just like, I don't know to like, you're the brains. Please just take this advantage. That's what it kind of seemed like. He's like,
Yeah,
you could use this a lot better than I could. Like,
I know, like, there have been games that I've done where I've given advantages away. However, when I do it, it's typically with the expectation that the person I'm giving it to is going to be playing it that tribal.
yeah,
And I do it so like I've done it in two different games. Both times I gave it away at tribal council. Someone used a knowledge's power against me to try to take it.
uh,
So like I'm 2 for 2 on reading knowledge's power. So I'm quite happy about that.
hell
And
yeah,
so both times it ended up working in my favor. This is obviously not a case where he's concerned about knowledge's power. But, maybe he's like, I want to make sure Suri understands that we're good and that, I want her to stay. So I don't hate it.
no, yeah,
We and at this point we basically just see everyone kind of talking. I don't know if there's anything specific you want to go into, but like it's
uh,
basically clearly gonna be either Joe, Ozzy, and Savannah. And really it ends up being either Joe or Savannah.
yeah. Honestly, it was just this whole thing was everybody being mad at Joe. Like, I don't know, the whole Joe fiasco going on, and the only thing I really have to add was that the very funny scene in the episode is when Christian is talking to him like through the hammock
Yep.
and then gets
I
up and starts physically rocking the hammock while like trying to tell him the plan. Like I thought that was
it
hilarious.
in my notes, I literally wrote word for word, Christian is rocking Joe like a baby to keep him calm, LMFAO. Because
Oh my
that's
god.
the vibe I got, and that is weird.
Yeah.
But it honestly, it makes me wonder if in season 48, if Kyle's not there, I don't think Joe makes it anywhere close to the end.
Yeah, he
Like, it really just showed how much of Joe, and I kind of want to lump Eva in there too, but I'm not going to. But certainly Joe's success was tied to like Eva and more so probably Kyle.
yeah.
Like I'm not saying that Eva was necessarily pulled along by Kyle, but I think Eva's biggest ally was Joe. Joe's biggest ally was Eva. And I think unfortunately, if Kyle's not there to help them, I think both of them kind of get screwed and go
Yeah,
down.
Joe doesn't really seem like a player who is like capable of playing from the bottom or like doing like it sounds mean, but like strategizing like well. Like they were kind of on top like the entire like season 48, and then like bro like freaked out when he found out like Shaheen was thinking about like flipping on him or whatever happened in 48,
Mhm.
and like he really like started going a little crazy because he's like, oh my god, what's
And
going
I
on?
mean, we've had Joe talk about this in confessionals where he is so paranoid.
Oh yeah, he
I
got
guess
PTSD.
Joe really viewed the Kyle Camilla pair not only as like how the fuck did I miss this the entire season, but the way he repeatedly describes it is that he felt so embarrassed. And like I feel bad because when I left 48, I left it thinking that Kyle and Camilla did an amazing job, but I didn't think less of Joe.
No.
I did not view Joe as like this big fool who absolutely got steamrolled and look at him, ha ha. That wasn't my view of Joe at all. I thought he played a very respectful game.
Yeah,
Um,
the way he's acted is like they were like dunking on him every episode. Like, no, I mean he had a very good edit. Like, I like feel like half the
yeah,
people in the audience thought he was gonna win, like just based on the edit and like
yeah,
his
no,
position. And then
he was so good. He was like Mike in 42 actually. Is like a good comparison. Like
yeah,
no
like
one I think left 42 saying Mike is such a laughable player. Ha ha ha. Like yeah, Mike didn't win, but like he played a respectful game.
mhm.
But either way, we see the people discuss if we do Joe or if we do Savannah. The only other thing I think worth really talking about there is Kristen and Rick coming up with a plan.
that was
And I was a little confused on how the plan was gonna go, but I
me
guess the
too.
plan was Rick made a fake idol and hid it at tribal council.
Yeah,
Sure,
I
why not?
I love it. I love it. Like, why not? Like you said, like I like
It
people who do crazy stuff like that. That is very like Adam
and
Klein
yeah,
vindication.
I mean, yeah. And the thing is like he said, that's not even necessarily like him hoping someone else finds it. That's more like if me or Christian think we're in trouble, we can make a show of grabbing it, and now people will actually think we have an idol.
Yeah, I
Because why would they think that they planted it a number of days ahead of time, you
mhm.
know?
God, I
So,
really
like,
hope
I
this.
like the plan.
Yeah, I'm with how much they highlighted. I really hope this has like a satisfying like conclusion, like with this whole
Yeah.
thing. Like, I hope somebody doesn't like randomly find it and they're like, "What is?" I don't know. I hope it gets used in a way where it's like Rick gets up
My
and like pretends to find it, and like everybody goes crazy and like, "Oh my god,
so
what's happening?"
so we not to I am not someone who analyzes the edit. I don't do edgec. I don't
Yeah,
follow edgec. That's not who I am. But my logic has to be that if it ended up not paying off, then why would they show him hiding it?
yeah,
That's my guess. But anyways, we get to tribal. Really, not much talking. Savannah starts talking about her life a little in season 49. The moment Cerise started tearing up, I said Savannah's going.
yeah.
I was like, Cerise knows that Savannah's about to go and feels bad.
I really thought like Joe was gonna go just because like the whole episode
Yeah.
was like why Joe sucks, not really like why
Mhm.
Savannah like that. Like, I'm not saying it came out of nowhere. Savannah getting voted out. They mentioned her name, like she was kind of on the chopping block, but like
They
the whole episode was like, God, I hate playing Survivor with Joe. Like, oh,
the
Joe, it would be so good if
entire
he wasn't here.
the entire tribe, I think, would have had an easier time working with Savannah in the future than Joe.
Yeah, you gotta wonder if they're gonna be kicking themselves when they see it's like a swap the next episode. Because like I feel like one of the main reasons of keeping Joe is like, man, we've been sucking it at the challenges. Voting out Joe would be kind of just guaranteeing us losing again.
Yeah.
Which I've got to think that's probably the thought process, and the fact that they swap right away, it's like, damn, well, that
I don't
sucks.
know. I don't know. But yeah, that's basically the whole episode. There is one thing I want to point out though, because
Yeah.
this is something I had not thought about until I saw a thing in Exit Press, and my mind was blown. I saw a headline, and it said, "Savannah reveals she forgot about Advantage."
Well, I did see that. I did see
And in
that.
my mind, I'm like, "Oh, she forgot she had her block about." No, 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 no. She forgot she had a shot in the dark.
That is so wild.
Well, I think what's wild is I didn't know Shot in the Dark was in this season.
Yeah, there's been zero mentions of it. Like,
And
uh,
that surprises me because one of the things we voted on as fans was about advantages. Wouldn't the players having a shot in the dark at the very beginning clue them in that advantages are going to exist?
Yeah, I know specifically one of the voting things was like because we voted on the types of advantages, and then there was
Mhm.
like just straight up idols, no idols.
Yeah. I also feel like I also feel like we would have gotten in the premiere at least one conversation of like two old school players, like Colby and Stephanie, being like, why do I have this die again? What's the point of this?
What's a shot in the dark?
What's
A
a
surprise.
shot in the dark? But like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Savannah could have played it and maybe would have stayed, but like, eh, it's unlikely. You
Yeah,
have to imagine if she plays it and it comes up safe on the revote, Joe's gone, right? Like,
yeah. I mean,
I think it's 5 votes Joe. Joe votes Ozzy. I don't even know if he votes. I don't know who the fuck Joe votes for, honestly.
nah, no clue.
I don't know. I think Joe's fucked. But anyways, that's the episode. A
Yeah,
lot shorter when it's only 90 minutes and not 3 hours. Crazy how that works.
yeah, no, a very awesome episode. I'm so excited for the next one, and like I said before, just hoping Mr. Beast doesn't ruin my vibe. That's all I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to keep having banger after banger like this, and if
I
so, this is gonna be one of my favorite seasons. It's already these first two have got my hopes high.
I don't think we're gonna see Mr. Beast until it's like final 10.
Yeah,
It's gonna be late game. Especially because they're not gonna show that until they feel pretty confident that most of the players know that there's celebrity fans involved.
hmm
Because there's quite a few people who don't know about Billie Eilish's Boring Idols.
hmm
Which we now know there is one on each tribe, so there we go.
yeah.
But yeah. That about does it. You feeling good about your 3 draft picks still?
Um, Christian, feeling fantastic about that one for sure.
Not
Mike,
shitty?
well, no, not too shitty. Not. I don't think that was a messy pick at all. I think it was a good pick actually. Mike, I mean, they talk about his abs a lot. I don't know. I feel like no, I can't really get a read on how he's gonna do just because he's on that teal tribe where like nobody's really
Mhm.
gotten anything. I'm feeling decent about Ozzy too. Like after that initial first episode where his name was out there, I think he'll make the merge. That's why I picked him. So hopefully that
The,
happens.
the only concern I could see with Ozzy is if he gets swapped onto a tribe with Coach.
Yeah, because
Because if
one of
that
them's going.
happens, I think one of them is going,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think it would be pretty interesting to see who everyone goes with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel decent about my picks. Jonathan, yeah, Jonathan's not going in.
No.
But I could definitely see a world where D or Angelina get swap screwed. I mean, Angelina is kind of in a shit position as it is anyway, so it's kind of hard to get into a shittier situation. And then D definitely could get swapped, and if her tribe lost, they could say, you know what, we took out 2 of the 3 winners. Let's just make it 3 for 3.
Mm-hmm. I'm rooting for you, especially Angelina. I need more. I'm
Yeah.
still like, I think I had the confessional chart up. She had 0 confessionals. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, give me more Angelina, please.
Yeah, that's crazy, but maybe it's a slow burn. That's what I'm gonna hope for at least.
Yeah.
And that with a tribe swap, maybe we'll see more of her. So, all right. Well, that about does it. If you stuck around and listened to this episode, thank you very much. Kind of cool that you would listen to, admittedly, 2 random people just rambling about Survivor. But I respect it. If you ever want to play the actual Survivor from the comfort of your own living room, game room, whatever, there's Minecraft Survivors. I'm running one. Applications are going to be ending very soon in like a week and a half.
Apply,
So
apply, apply.
yeah,
Do
apply.
it.
And if not, watch when it comes out because it's going to be hype as hell. Yeah. Any last things you want to say, or are we good to go?
well, like Rob said, thank you all for watching. If you made it to the end, subscribe. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, no, great episode.
Smash that like button, ring the bell for notifications.
Apply to the Survivor, do everything, please. But yeah, no.
Yeah. See y'all later.